Namaste and welcome, dear friends, to the 9th class of the Bhagavad Gita. Let us begin our class with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Bhagwan Krishna, Jesus Christ, Mahavatar Babaji, Lahiri Mahashay, Swami Shri Yukteswar Ji, Beloved Gurudev Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, Saints and sages of all religions, humbly we bow at thy feet. Beloved Krishna, in the language of my soul, I demand realization of thy presence. Thou art the essence of everything. Help me to feel thy presence in every fiber of my being and in every wisp of thought and emotion. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let us now sing the hymn to Brahma and a chant. And as we sing it, let's call upon God and the Gurus, and let's interiorize our attention from the outside world into our own inner being.
Hare
staying in an interiorized state of consciousness. Let's feel the presence of Krishna in everything, from our own body, our breath, our thoughts, our emotions, our very soul is Krishna. All objects around us, their energy distribution, the thought that brought them into being, the pure consciousness behind them, everything is indeed Krishna. And everything is connected. With that thought, we will move into the class. But before going into the Gita proper, I have a few interesting thoughts to share with you. And recently, I've been listening to a few scientific articles on biology, physics, chemistry, on quantum mechanics, quantum computing, and so on. And I've been trying to relate them into our knowledge of spirituality as Yogananda has taught us. And just sharing a couple of thoughts from that is, the first thought is that all of us are connected. In fact, everything on this planet and this universe is connected. And how is that? So starting from our own blood and starting from our own heart. So in our heart, we have the blood flowing. And the main molecule in blood that is supposed to carry oxygen, we know, is hemoglobin. And in the heart of hemoglobin is a chemical called heme B. And at the heart of that is basically the iron molecule. So the iron molecule actually, it did not just suddenly appear on Earth. The only source of iron in the whole universe is when actually stars go into supernova explosions when they are dying, or when two stars are colliding with each other. So the iron that is present in your blood and my blood or our blood is actually coming from the collisions of stars with themselves, or the explosion of a supernova, which could be anywhere in the galaxy. And the question arises, why are stars colliding with each other? And the answer to that is that because stars are part of galaxies, and galaxies are moving in this dancing movement in the entire universe because of gravitational forces. And the question is then, why does gravitation happen? And according to the latest theory in science, gravitational field is a play of space and time. And till recently, they say that they have discovered 11 dimensions of space. And when those 11 dimensions of space interact with time, then gravitational fields are created, which causes the galaxies to move in a dance-like motion, which causes the stars to collide, which causes iron molecules to be produced, and which is the cause of the blood flowing in our bodies and the capability of carrying oxygen to various parts of the body. Coming to a little smaller space and time would be the history of the Earth. And the fact that our hemoglobin can carry oxygen is because of the fact that there is oxygen on this planet. Now, interesting thought is that where has this oxygen come from? And it is said that the Earth was created 4.5 billion years ago. And it's about 3.6 to 3.3 billion years ago that a particular bacterium started to appear within the rocks of this Earth. And that was called cyanobacterium. And that cyanobacterium was the first bacterium or organism that started to convert the carbon dioxide into oxygen. And it was only much later in the history of our planet that when oxygen started to pervade not only the atmosphere, but also in the water and everywhere that there was oxygen, separate oxygen, breathable oxygen. Of course, we know that water is also H2O, but then that breathable oxygen pervaded the entire atmosphere. And it was then only that later the living creatures or animals came into being, and then human beings are supposed to have evolved from that. So this is an amazing thought. Just to think of these things is mind-boggling. And another thought that comes along with this is that, all Hindu Shastras, Indian scriptures, will say that there are 84,000 types of species that a soul can be born into, and that all of us have actually come from rocks, into vegetation, then into animals, and then finally into human beings. Now, this may appear to be very impossible kind of a situation, but if we were to just start tracing our own existence back, let's think of our mothers and the mother of our mother, the mother of her mother, and the mother of her mother. The fact that we are existing today is the proof that there has been a series of existing parents that we've had. And that means though that series has never been broken. So going back, let's say, 300,000 years back, when the Paleolithic man was there, the fact that we have existed in some form because we are descending from that, the same DNA. So whatever DNA that you have today has come from your mother, and her DNA has come from her mother. So down from the Paleolithic age, which is 300,000 years, and even before that, from the monkey species, the chimpanzees, or they are evolving into as humans. So the DNA is coming from there. And if we go even behind that, that series, we go into other vertebrate animals. So the DNA has been descending, although there are some modifications have occurred according to age, but some part of the DNA has been descending from vertebrate animals. And then if we go further back in time into the age of the dinosaurs, so our ancestral DNA has been in the Ice Age. Our ancestral DNA has seen the time of the Noah's Ark, where the whole planet is flooded. And even before that, then the reptiles were there. And before that, the DNA was present in water as fishes. And even before the DNA came into the fishes, it was in the unicellular organisms. And that unicellular organisms, as we see, the cyanobacterium came into being about 3.5 billion years ago. So some DNA from that has descended down to us. So the fact that the scriptures say that our possibility of being, of existing, of any of these species does not appear to be far-fetched if we take even a speck of science into this. So again, let's understand the connectedness of space, of time, of continuity, and so on. And with that, open perspective of intellect as well as the open heart, if we go into the teachings of the Gita, then it's very easy for us to understand reincarnation. It is very easy for us to understand that there is actually no death for the soul, and that there is continuity of life even when the body is shed. So I'm just bringing this out to you today so that our minds, our hearts, our intellects are open to understanding, to receiving more data. And then, of course, with our heart, we understand the heart of the scripture, which tells us who we really are. So this brings us back to the study of the Gita. And in the last class, what we studied was that as the meditating devotee is trying to sit in meditation and go beyond body consciousness, then suddenly his breath or the ego consciousness pops in and says, oh, what about me? What about me? And then the whole system of the astral nadis, the sounds are being created from there, and the breath is roaring like a lion. And in the meantime, of course, the devotee also can hear sounds from his chakras, which is the sound of the conches of the Pandavas. And the meditating devotee can also hear, if he or she is in tune with the Om vibration, which is the Krishna's conch. So as this is happening, a lot of tumult starts to happen in the devotee. And at that point in time, the devotee now wants to understand the battle clearly. And therefore, it tells its intuition, which is Krishna, and brings itself to the center of its own being and wants to see who are the warriors on both sides very clearly, so that he can now manage to really understand. So now the devotee can see that these are the vices in me and these are the virtues in me, and then how I should fight this battle. And the sudden realization dawns upon the devotee that all these people who are in the opposing army are actually my own cousins, my own relatives, people that I have grown up with. Means these are my own old bad habits that I have created over, past life or past many lives. And then these belong to me only, and they are part of my family. And why should I kill them? How should I kill them? I'm unable to kill them, and so on and so forth. And we know this very easily. So, for example, if if I'm a smoker and I want to quit the habit of smoking, then I do come to a point and say that, yes, I can see that I have this habit of smoking and I have a desire of smoking. On the other hand, I can see that I do have some self-control, which I want to exercise. Therefore, now I'm in the center of these two opposing forces, where I know I have self-control. Also, I have the wisdom that smoking is not a good habit. On the other hand, this is the desire as well as the habit. So I'm here in the center. So now I want to quit smoking. I want to kill smoking. Then what happens immediately? The ego consciousness, Bhishma, comes into place. Oh, but I enjoy smoking. I like it so much. And then suddenly that smoking is not such a bad habit, it's all right. So basically we start to give explanations to our own selves, to excuses. And in the next few verses that we are going to study today, we will hear all the excuses that Arjuna gives to Krishna for not fighting. And these are exactly the excuses that we give to ourselves when we want to get rid of a bad habit or when we want to develop a good habit. So let's hear out what Arjuna has to say to Krishna as excuses. So we will begin with verse number 31. Okay. So this is the second line of verse 31 and the first line of shlok 32. Na cha shreyo anupashyami hatva swajannamahave na kakshe vijayam Krishna na cha rajyam sukhani cha. हे कृष्ण, ना तो मैं युद्ध में अपने स्वजनों को मारकर किसी प्रकार का कल्याण देखता हूं, ना ही मैं विजय, ना ही राज्य, ना ही सुखों की लालसा रखता हूं. O Krishna, neither do I perceive any worthwhile effect in slaying my own kinsman in the battle. I crave neither triumph, nor kingdom, nor pleasures. So does this argument seem familiar? That no, I don't want anything. So initially, when the war is beginning, the devotee is bewildered. So he can see that, yes, these are the opposing armies and these are my own armies. And then he starts to think, oh, should I fight this battle? Is it possible for me to win in this battle? Is it worthwhile to fight this battle? So the devotee is thinking in his own mind. And then from that state of bewilderment, he suddenly comes to a state of, negative definiteness. No, it's not worth to fight this battle. Let me leave this battle. So this is a very, very common thing that happens with us. And shifting from that bewildered state into negative definiteness is very easy. Why? Because we are so accustomed to our habits. We are in such a comfort zone with our habits that we know that if we want to kill our habits, then we have to invest a lot of energy into it. And we don't want to invest that energy into it. Therefore, we say, oh, it's all right. I'm fine. Let me not fight this battle. I will definitely not fight this battle. So this is what happens to us. So for example, if the doctor has prescribed that you must exercise every day, and therefore you plan to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then, the next morning you wake up and you have this part of you is saying, okay, wake up, you got to go for a walk, you got to go for a run. And part of you is saying, oh, come on, maybe tomorrow, oh, it's too cold or it's too hot, or maybe, I did a lot of work yesterday, so maybe today I can just let it be. So this is a daily battle that is happening in each one of us, and let us recognize this battle of Kurukshetra within us. And therefore, now from that vantage point, now see the arguments that are coming up in this verse. Okay, and of course today also I'll like to read a lot from Yogananda's words, because they're not worth modifying or adding at all. So Master says, if the devotee continues to persevere, he finds that this state is only a momentary vacuum in his evolution. The devotee should be happy to renounce a sensory pittance for the everlasting joy found in God realization. The divine state of final emancipation is not a state of blank nothingness or a condition of inner extinction. It is rather a positive conscious sense of eternal blessed expansion. So the next shlok will explain the ending of this one. Now verses 32 to 34 have been dealt together by Master. And I will read them first together in Sanskrit and then Hindi and English. Kim no rajyena govinda, kim bhogayjima vitena, yeshamarthe kadashitam, no rajyam bhoga sukhani cha, tai me avsthita yudhe, prana satyakta vadhanani cha. Acharya pitra putras tathaivam cha pitamaha matulya shushara potra shayala sambandhistata. हे गोविंद, ऐसे शासन का हमारे लिए क्या लाभ है? ऐसे भोगों और जीवन के चलते रहने से भी क्या लाभ है? जिनके लिए हम राज्य, आनंद, सुख आदि चाहते हैं, वे ही धन और जीवन की आशा त्याग कर युद्ध में खड़े हैं। गुरुजन, पितृगण, पुत्रगण, पितामहगण, मामे, ससुरगण, पौत्रगण और श्यालकगण तथा और भी संबंधी। Of what use to us is dominion? Of what avail happiness or even the continuance of life? O Govind, the very ones for whose sake we desire empire, enjoyment, pleasure, remain poised here for battle, ready to relinquish wealth and life. Preceptors, fathers, sons, grandfathers, uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other kinsmen. So Arjuna has already done this once of pointing out all these relatives, but now again, he is saying that actually when we have any material pleasure or we enjoy this world, then we like to enjoy with all of this family. Then what is the point of killing this family? And this appears to be actually a logical question to us. Now we may think, now the important thing is that instead of considering these opposing armies as your relatives who are outside of you, you should consider them as your own mental citizens, and you should never forget that they put you in exile, that the soul was sent to exile because of these very negative vices, because of these very relatives. And so one should never forget that you have lost dominion over your kingdom because of them. Because of these bad habits, you have time and again fallen into physical illness, or you have mental stagnation or emotional difficulty. And you should always remember that the suffering that they had brought. So once you remember the suffering caused by these sense pleasures or by habit tendencies, then this question will not arise to you. And then, but this is the fact of life. That's why Arjuna is saying again that he's confused. Simply speaking, we are confused whether it's really worth it to fight this battle, or we can just let these habit patterns stay in our mind. So it's as simple as that. And then, of course, he is saying that, victory is going to be meaningless. How will I be happy if I kill desire? How am I going to be happy? And this brings us to shlok number 35. Etan hantumichhami hanto api madhusudana api trailokya rajasya heto kim nu mahi krite. हे मधुसूदन कृष्ण, यदि ये संबंधी मुझे नष्ट करने की चेष्टा भी करें, तब भी मैं उन्हें नष्ट करने की इच्छा नहीं कर सकता। चाहे ऐसा करके मैं तीनों लोकों का राज्य भी प्राप्त कर लूं, तब भी पृथ्वी की साधारण भूमि के लिए तो कदापि ही नहीं। Even though these relatives should try to destroy me, O Madhusudan Krishna, still I could not want to destroy them, not even if thereby I attain mastery over the three worlds. How much less then for the sake of this mundane territory of earth. So look at the excuse. Now he says, I do not wish to slay them. I'm not going to kill these enemies of mine because neither do I want spiritual mastery over my causal bodies, astral bodies, leave alone mastery over my physical body, which is the earth. So he says, I do not want heaven and I do not want earth. Let them win. And this is exactly what we do. So once the addict, so addict could be a sense addict, could be a drug abuse addict, or it could be a relationship and emotional addict. It could be any kind of addiction. So that person reasons that, oh, if I leave all these relationship issues, if I leave my drugs and my alcohol and my smoking, if I leave all the problems of anger and irritability, of worry and fear, then what worth is my life? What is left of me? Is it really meaningful to actually kill all of these enemies or not? So we should be asking this question to ourselves today. So maybe we can pick up top 2 problems that we have in our life, which are our own created self problems, our own habit patterns or tendencies. And maybe we can ask ourselves right now, do I want to kill them or I do not want to kill them? Do I like to live with these habit tendencies in this comfort zone, or do I truly want freedom from them? So we put yourself in the place of Arjuna and actually see your own negative bad habits as these enemies standing in front of you, inside you, and ask yourself and give yourself a very truthful answer. Do you want to kill them? Or like Arjuna, right now you are saying, I'm okay with them. Even if they kill me, I am fine. Let them be. Okay. So to explain this further, Guruji says, he says, when this mental state arises, so what should we do when we are thinking like this? When he thinks he would rather die in sense indulgence, then he should, and rather than, so basically the problem here is the devotee feels that the happiness that I'm seeking is an unknown happiness, but the comfort of this sense indulgence is known to me. So how should I leave the known pleasure, even though they are giving me pain, for a happiness that is yet unknown to me? So that is a big question that comes to the devotee's mind. And so this is what Guruji is saying. When he looks for, he doesn't want to look for that unknown happiness in the bleakness of self-control, then this is the reasoning of his own mind that he must use. So what is it that we must say to ourselves? We must say, I lack spiritual imagination and spiritual experience. That is why I think that the present sense happiness is the only happiness worth possessing. Let me rather believe in the truthful words of the scriptures and of my Guru. Let me meditate deeply and attain cosmic consciousness. Then I shall see the difference between the everlasting divine happiness and the temporary enjoyment of sensory entertainment. I shall then reverse my present judgment and say that I would rather die for spiritual happiness than yield to the false promises of the senses. So, simply putting, so if we are in such a situation and where we do not want to leave the comfort of the known for the happiness of the unknown, but we have a guru in our life, and by the practice of Kriya Yoga, by the practice of meditation, and having felt and known that it works, that it actually fulfills the promises that have been made. The promise made by the Guru to us is through the technique of Kriya Yoga. And through our meditation, we have felt that peace which is not common in the world. Through our meditation, through Kriya Yoga, we have felt the expansion of intuition, which is again not common in the world. Now we know that the promise of the scriptures and the Guru is being fulfilled. Therefore, putting all your trust and faith more and more on the Guru and the promise of the scriptures, and knowing for a fact that yes, they will eventually take me to what is being promised. And then when I come to that point, if I continue my effort, if I continue to deeply meditate regularly as has been advised, then I will find that I will come to the point where I will know that yes, the experience gained by meditation, the expansion of consciousness, the joy, the peace, the wisdom that I gain through meditation is definitely more delicious than the simple pleasures of the senses. Unless you have a standard of comparison, how are you going to leave the lesser pleasures? So first, taste the higher pleasure. And then automatically the lesser pleasure you would want to just give up. Then the battle becomes so easy. So at this point, it is important that the devotee continues to trust the words of the Guru and he continues to put self-effort in his meditative practice. So this is where we are right now. Okay. This brings us to the next shloka or verse, which is number 36. Nihatye dharta rashtrana ka priti saya janardhana papumeva shraya dasman atvaitanaatayena. हे जनार्दन, धृतराष्ट्र के वंश को नष्ट करके हमें कैसे प्रसन्नता होगी? इन महापराधियों की हत्या से हमें केवल पाप के चंगुल में ही जाना पड़ेगा. What happiness could we gain, O Janardhan Krishna, from destroying the clan of Dhritarashtra? The slaying of these felons would only put us in the clutches of sin. So again, now Arjun is trying to bring in scriptures. He's saying, oh, the scriptures say that you should practice non-violence. And oh, Krishna, you are asking me to be violent against these tendencies. This is very confusing. And don't you think we will be sinning if we kill these relatives of ours? So then we will see how Krishna answers these questions. Right now, Arjuna's justifications will continue. Okay. So then he says, what is the strange happiness, O Janardhan, that you're talking of? I am so comfortable and happy with my sense delights. What is this strange happiness that you are promising? And what is the fun of actually giving up these simple pleasures? I'm already having fun in life. I'm enjoying these pleasures of life. Then why should I give them up? This is a common question that every person asks. But unless, as Master says, unless you have tasted the higher joy of meditation, the unceasing joy, the ever new joy of your meditation, how will you leave the simple, base, repetitive, mechanical pleasure of the senses? That means you have to taste something higher. Therefore, you must march on your spiritual practices. Okay. Again, I will read Master's words, which are so amazing. He says, the slaying of these friendly enemies, even though they have committed painful felonies against me, would leave my life dismally empty and would be sinful according to the highest scriptures, which teach that we should live in harmony with the cosmic law and which also advocate love rather than violence in confronting one's enemies. Master says this is a brilliant remonstrance. This is where why are we giving this remonstrance? Because we are forgetting that the enemies which are inside of us are nothing but energy patterns. We are thinking of them as individuals like ourselves, but actually those enemies are simple energy conglomerates that have been created because of certain repetitive choices and actions that we have made in the past. And therefore, it is never going to be sinful to actually kill them. And we'll see how. So what Master says here beautifully, he says, when the scripture is asking you to kill sense indulgence, it is not asking you to kill the sense organs. It is asking you to kill the wrong habits that you have developed by indulgence in the senses. So you are not actually killing the sense organ. Neither are you killing the energy, because energy cannot be killed, but all you are killing is your tendency to go in the wrong direction with that energy. So you need to kill that wrong direction. You are investing your energy available to you in wrong habits through the senses. But what meditation demands of you is to withdraw the energy from the senses, in a sense to kill it. But then the energy is not killed, because that very energy actually you are bringing into the spine, and you are raising it to the brain and taking towards enlightenment. So the truth is that because energy is not being killed, so no true killing is happening. The only thing that is being killed are the illusory sense enjoyments, which were anyway delusional. So actually, it's a win-win situation, but it's just that we are seeing from the perspective of human bodies, of human senses, and we have lived so much conditioned in this world that we do not understand the inner depth of our actual inner lives. Okay. Okay, so now again, what is the solution? Now, if you are in this position, what should you do? Master says, when false argument invades the mind of the devotee, he should suggest to himself, by the repetition of my ignorance-born evil actions and bad habits initiated by me, I have been compelled to love the sense pleasures. Now I will undo all the evils by substituting good actions through the exercise of self-control until good habits are finally formed. Okay. So we come to the next shloka, shloka number 37. Tasmanarha vayam hantu dhartarashtrana swabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhina syama madhava. इसलिए अपने ही संबंधियों धृतराष्ट्र के पुत्रों को मारना हमारे लिए उचित नहीं। हे माधव, अपने ही कुटुंब की हत्या से हम सुख को कैसे प्राप्त कर सकते हैं? Therefore, we are not justified in annihilating our very own relatives, the progeny of Dhritarashtra. O Madhav Krishna, how indeed could we attain happiness by killing our own kindred? So you see, the same argument continues over and over again. Okay. Now here, what Arjuna is saying, that how can we, again he says, how do I destroy these senses? Because my mind is receiving data from them, and my mind is expressing through its faculty of intellect and motor neurons. This is how I'm expressing my life. So the question in Arjuna's mind is, how am I supposed to kill something with which actually I'm functioning in this world? But again, the argument remains the same, because the question is also similar to the previous shloka. The argument remains the same, that actually the sense organs are not being killed. Only energy is being withdrawn from the senses so that it can be redirected towards first the habit of performing good actions, in investing into good karma, and then eventually taking up to the brain and rising beyond karma. So here again, Master gives the same argument. Okay. And also, important thing here is that Master says that this argument will continue to draw your energy. It will become deeper and deeper. It will try to convince you. It will try to fully justify that the battle is not necessary. So always watch out when you are trying to create a new habit, or you're trying to kill a bad old habit. And if a point comes where you are now convinced to give it up, now that's the point where you should look up and you say, no. Now you are a yogi and you are aware of these processes, that Maya will play with your own mind, and then it will convince you that no, you don't need to do this. But at that very point, if the yogi is alert, if the yogi has always called upon God or Krishna or Guru for help, then Krishna will drop this thought in the devotee's mind that this is not it, that you must still fight the battle. So therefore, what do we do on a daily basis that we can come out of the situation is, daily we meditate, daily we pray and call upon Krishna, daily we attune ourselves to the Guru, so that when this situation comes, when we are on the darkest hour of saying that I cannot fight this battle, leave alone win, when I'm saying that I want to just give up, I don't even want to try eliminating my bad habits, that time all the habits that you have created and cultivated over the past, weeks, months and days, years of meditation will come to your rescue. And Krishna will continuously keep dropping that thought into your voice. Your inner voice will speak to you. And it is from that meditative practice that your intuition will tell you that, no, I can still do this. And we'll see how our intuition guides us into that. Okay. Right. So we come to shloka number 38 and 39. Yadapyet na pashyanti lobhapahalt chetasa kulshaya kritam dosham mitradrohe cha patakam katham na geyamasmabhi papadasmani vartitum kulshaya kritam dosham prapashya dvijardardhana. यदि ये अन्य लोग कुरु, जिनकी समझ लोभ से ढकी हुई है, कुल के नाश से उत्पन्न दोष और मित्रों के विरोध में कोई विपत्ति नहीं देखते, तो क्या हमें भी इस पाप से बचने पर विचार नहीं करना चाहिए? हे जनार्दन, हम जो कुल के नाश में बुराई का स्पष्ट रूप से अनुभव करते हैं, even if these others, the Kurus, whose understanding is eclipsed by greed, behold no calamity in the ruin of the families and no evil in enmity to friends, should we not know to avoid this sin, O Janardhan? We who do distinctly perceive the evil in the disintegration of the family. So now another excuse is coming in. He's saying, now we are all family. And how do we kill this family? It is never right to kill family members. And of course, in our day-to-day common sense, we'll say, of course, who's going to kill family members? But which family is being talked about here? So it is the inner family of 5 sense organs and the power of senses, of 5 motor actions and the power to do actions. And of course, the various kauravas of the material desire, of anger, and of the 100 vices that are existing inside of us. And we know how they have all together send us into exile. We have suffered enough. And now is the time to actually get rid of all of them. So therefore, this justification, so see how Arjuna is still justifying that it's okay to have certain bad habits. I can continue to live with them. And I'm not interested in killing them because it doesn't make sense to me. Okay. So Guruji says on this, he says, the devotee reasons that the sense inclinations are necessary for the expression and experience of the incarnate soul, just as much as wisdom inclinations are. And thus he sees no reason why the one set of sense members of the family should be destroyed and the other set of discriminating inclinations should be allowed to live on. It seems unreasonable to him to destroy the family of sense inclinations since they have specific functions to perform in our life. So again, same justification. They are doing certain things in my body. If I don't do them, if I don't use my sense organs, then the family will get destroyed. So what the devotee is thinking, that my entire system will get disrupted. So in this case, again, I will come back to the example of the smoker. So what the smoker is saying is that all the tar and the carbon and the nicotine and all of that, the pleasure that I get is now part of my body. And how can I actually get rid of it? I'm going to suffer if I get rid of it. So the habit has gone so deep into your being, it has occupied every fiber of your being, from your physical body and to the mental inclination of the memory of having pleasure with every puff of smoke. So now you don't even realize how caught up you are. And that you start to think that this nicotine and carbon are your friends because they give you a temporary good feeling. And you are thinking that, okay, if I kill them, then of course I'm not going to feel good. And of course it's true in a sense that once you're addicted to a certain thing for some time, if you stop those, it's going to be difficult. But then you have to do it. If not in this life, then the next life. It's not necessary that the next life you will also again be a smoker. It's just that you are dependent on some external object. So the habit pattern that will go with you is the thought that I cannot be happy without an external object. So it's not that the smoke or the cigarette will go with you in your next life. No, but the very thought that I am incomplete and my happiness depends on something outer to me. And without that, not only by my happiness, but my existence also is in question. Now, this is a completely delusional thought. And therefore, however difficult the battle may be, you will someday have to fight the battle of de-addicting yourself. So then why not now? We are all yogis here. I'm just labeling a smoking habit, but we know the ill habits that we personally have, and we are equally dependent on them. Most of you may have this subtle subconscious that, oh, I am not a smoker, so maybe I'm better off. No. You have emotional dependence on others. You have financial dependence on others. In the sense, you think that the world must provide on you. So you have this dependence on the world of saying that the world owes me happiness. This is a wrong habit pattern of thought. As long as you continue to think that the world owes you happiness, now this is the problem, the source of all the problem, actually. What you're forgetting here, that all the happiness that you experience is in this life is actually the property or the quality of your own soul, that you are the fountain of happiness itself. But because of wrong thinking and because of these very senses which you are trying to protect now, you have been conditioned to look outside and you have conditioned your happiness to be dependent on everything around you except for yourself. So therefore, this is a completely wrong argument where you say that I cannot exist or I cannot be happy without these things, because what is the source of happiness? Is you yourself, is your soul, right? So if you remember that, then it's easy to turn inwards. And having experienced at least some degree of bliss through our Kriya Yoga practice, we know it. We know that yes, bliss resides in us. And it is we who have to touch that bliss again and again by turning ourselves inward. So again, by using the energy which was initially going out through the senses, now I want to withdraw and I want to use that very same energy to experience bliss and wholesomeness in my very own being. And once I'm able to taste the joy of my own inner being, then I will not be attracted towards sense pleasures. Once I know that I can attain greater happiness than what I was getting through smoking or to drinking or to sex pleasure or through name, fame, money, you name it, and it's there. Once you know that the bliss of your own being is greater, then these temptations will stop attacking you. Then the enemy starts to fall on its own. And of course, your main effort of you are Arjuna. So you are the fighter. You are the Kshatriya. You have to fight this battle with wisdom and with all the available powers. Okay. Guruji says, one who meditates daily and cultivates the taste for peace and contentment, gradually forsaking indulgence in sense pleasures, has a chance of spiritual emancipation. Otherwise, no chance. To starve out bad habits, one must get away from evil surroundings. And above all, one must never dwell mentally on evil thoughts. So now here Master is giving a soft way of getting rid of your old habits. So first of all, leave the company of people which invoke the presence of the habit in you. So suppose you have a drinking habit and there is a company of people with whom you drink regularly. So you will have to kill the association. So you don't have to kill those people, but you have to kill your association with them, because they are driving you to do something which your soul knows is wrong. So somewhere inside you, you already know that indulgence in alcohol is wrong. But because of the presence of those external factors, you easily slide into your habit pattern of drinking. So Master is saying, change your external environment, because environment is stronger than willpower. So even though you have thought that I will win, but because of environmental influences, you lose the battle. Therefore, start changing the company that you keep. And therefore, the importance of, again, satsang, the importance of listening to Yoganandaji's voice, his words, reading his book, listening to Swamiji, reading the preceptor, attuning yourself to the preceptor. And what will attuning do? It will start changing your frequency, basically. Once you start resonating, when the cells of the body are vibrating at a frequency which is different from the frequency of people around you, it is easy. So do everything that is in your power. Externally, you change the company. Externally, you take off all the bottles from the shelf of your house. Internally, you ascertain and determine, I am going to change my habit. And of course, I will go in the company of people who are already free from all these addictions, because they will inspire me and tell me that life is definitely possible without all of these addictions. Not only possible, it is healthier and happier without these associations. So therefore, I will do my best. And as side by side, I will pray, I will meditate. So I will not leave any stone unturned to win this battle. Unless you are determined like that, you're going to have to fall again and again and again. But once you are determined and say, come what may, as Master said, I will shake the earth. So if you're looking for a job, Master said, then I will shake the universe till the universe gives me a job. So something like that. So once you're, fed up enough with the problems, then you have to kind of shake yourself and you have to stand up for yourself and you have to really burn the ether around you with your one-pointed concentration and your determination to actually get rid of all the bad habits. This brings us to shloka number 40 and 41. Kulshaye pranashayanti kul dharma sanatana dharme nashte kul kritsna madharmo abhibhavtayut adharma bhabibhavat krishna pradushyanti kul striya Strishu dushta suvarneya jayate varna sankara. So in Hindi, these two shlokas. कुल का नाश होने के साथ कुल के युगों पुराने धार्मिक अनुष्ठान मिट जाते हैं, सनातन कुल धर्म नष्ट हो जाते हैं, धारण करने वाले धर्म के नाश हो जाने से पाप संपूर्ण कुल को अभिभूत कर लेता है। हे कृष्ण, धर्म के अभाव में कुल की स्त्रियां दूषित हो जाती हैं। हे वार्ष्णेय कृष्ण, स्त्रियों के इस प्रकार दूषित हो जाने से वर्ण जातियों में परगमन उत्पन्न होता है। With the decimation of the family, the age-old religious rights of the family fade away. When the upholding religion is annihilated, then sin overpowers the whole family. O Krishna, from lack of religion, the women of the family become bad. O Varshnaya Krishna, women being thus contaminated, adultery is engendered among castes. Okay, very interesting verse. And let me tell you, this is not a sexist verse at all. Although on the outset, it may appear to talk about women, but it is basically talking about energy. It is talking about Shakti, and it is the very power. It is talking about Kundalini. It is the very power with which the senses are working. It is your power of thought, the power of prana, as well as the power of work being able to function in this universe. So it is being, Shakti is being talked about. Now, Shakti, Adi Shakti, as we say, and we say Maya is that which creates differentiation. So Maya is also a feminine power. If we were to, just give it a gender, then Maya is supposed to be the Adi Shakti or the feminine power, which appears as the many. So the one appears as the many. Now, this very Maya also has two aspects. One is called Vidya Maya and the other is called Avidya Maya. So what is the difference between them? And this concept was given by Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa. Now, when we do bad things or we engage in lower tendencies or wrong habit patterns, then also we are using some energy. So that is Avidya Maya. So you are using the power of your energy to indulge into wrong habits, which will take you away from your soul consciousness. And let's say soul is the Krishna consciousness. So when you use the available energy for a downward act, for sense indulgence, that is Avidya Maya, because in the lack of knowledge, you are kind of using energy in the wrong way. Now, when you use your energy, the fact that we are studying the Bhagavad Gita, we are using some energy. We are using thought energy, we are using our prana, we are using our senses. So the same energy, when available energy, when you are using to seek knowledge and to apply that knowledge to exit this Maya completely, that becomes Vidya Maya. So let us understand that the energy, the Adi Shakti is the same. And that Adi Shakti you can use by the power of your own choice. You can use that Shakti or power or energy to go away from God and then of course go into distress and go into exile. Or you can bring that very same energy by withdrawing it from the senses and with the knowledge of Brahman, with the knowledge that is given by the Guru and by the scriptures, that same energy is used now to correct your delusive understanding. And to, of course, in bhakti, that same energy is offered back into the infinite. So when you do karma yoga, you are using that same Adi Shakti, same energy, the feminine power. When you are doing bhakti yoga, you are offering that same feminine power into love. And when you are doing jnana, then you are using Ma Saraswati, which represents the feminine. So here again, it's just as an understanding. There is a divine masculine and the divine feminine. And we know that all the goddesses, all the prosperity, all the knowledge, and all the power is represented by the divine feminine. Now, how we use that divine feminine actually determines what happens to us. And here, when it is said that the female energy will get corrupt, it means that the Arjuna is what Arjuna is saying, that if I withdraw the energy that my senses are now using, and I also withdraw the energy from my motor organs in meditation, then won't that energy get confused? Won't that energy now, the eyes are seeing, the ears are hearing, I'm touching, I'm smelling. If I withdraw energy from all of these sense actions and from my habits and through the senses, and they become one energy conglomerate, then would not that energy conglomerate get confused as to what its function is? What are the rites and rituals? Will not the energy forget that it is supposed to see, or it is supposed to hear, or it is supposed to be used for walking, or it is supposed to be used for sensing and operating in this world? So this is actually what Arjuna is saying. So representation of the feminine, both as the available energy with which we function in this universe, and also as the power of feeling. So here Master has so many times told us that the masculine represents the power of the intellectual reasoning, and the feminine represents the power of feeling or direct perception. And all of us, it will do good to all of us if we were to be able to balance these two. If your power of feeling is not working well, then it is going to cause corruption. Why? Because I feel like smoking, I feel like drinking, I feel like being lazy, I feel like watching TV. So this you are using, you are now, by saying these things or by doing these things, you are actually corrupting the feminine power that is within you. And the brain, interesting thing is that the discriminating intelligence will follow where the feeling is going. So if I say that, I like watching TV and I love it and I feel like watching TV, then my mind will tell me 10 reasons why I should watch TV. You know, TV has Discovery Channel. It will teach me so many new things. TV will also tell me what latest news is happening. It will also inspire me to, follow some sports. And although I am not moving myself even an inch, no muscle is being moved, but I am justifying myself that I will see advertisements and maybe I get to know some new products. So basically, I'm corrupting the feminine available Shakti or energy in me to do something wrong, and by my own choice, and my discrimination is also following that. And therefore, the entire family is getting corrupt. Therefore, the original rites and rituals that the human being should perform, what is the original rite and ritual, is going back to God, is meditating, is focusing on your soul. Therefore, there is so much confusion. And this is actually what the Gita is mentioning. And this is a subtle metaphorical explanation that Master has given. And of course, other saints like Ramakrishna Paramahansa have given. And if we go to the other side of explanation of this is the Jnana Yoga approach to this verse, is that says the masculine is the soul, and the rest of it, all the experiences are the feminine. And if you go towards the soul, which is the masculine, then no corruption will happen. But if you go into the world, which is randomly or arbitrarily labeled as the feminine, then there will be corruption. So this is as simple as that. And we should accept it in this intelligent way, because the masculine and the feminine are both inside us. So don't think that the women around are going to get corrupt. Know that your own energy will get corrupt. And because of its corruption, it will distort your own intelligent thinking, and you will lose discrimination, and you will have to go to exile. So with that thought, I think let's just take a moment to focus on the spiritual eye, to call upon the power of Krishna and of pure discrimination, which is within ourselves, to help us to at least clearly see the direction that we are going, and to know that our final goal is self-realization and soul realization, and that Krishna may help us to organize each day, each moment of our life, so that we attain to that highest goal, so that we do not allow the corruption of any energy within us. We use the energy with discrimination, and it is only by the uniting of that energy with Krishna consciousness that we will achieve self-realization. So with that thought, we will end today's class, and we will share these blessings and this power with all souls everywhere. Let us pray together. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Om. 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 Divine Mother, beloved Lord Krishna, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.